One of our earliest titles was Horse and Musket. It was also one of our most ambitious, still is. Designer Sean Chick originally pitched it to us as a 6-game series.
The idea behind Horse and Musket is let players refight battles from the era, 1683 to 1866. It's a robust and highly customizable toolkit that you can tweak to play almost any battle from that period. Each volume advances the overall story and the evolving art of war, from, of course, the Age of Marlborough and Eugene, to the wars of Frederick the Great, the American and French Revolution, the Napoleonic Wars, and then ending with the Crimean War, the American Civil War, and the Austro-Prussian War. That last conflict really did signal the end of this era.
The base game had more stuff than most of our other games put together, and because we're print on demand, it was really expensive. If it had flopped, boy howdy. But it was a hit.
As the series grew, it became clear that I didn't have the skill set or knowledge base to really do it justice as a developer. And so we turned to one of the game's biggest fans and most consistent boosters, Doug Miller. Other than Sean, of course, no one knows the system better than Doug.
There are 3 key mechanics that I think makes Horse and Musket really shine. First, unit capabilities are measured in morale points, not strength. Taking a hit reduces your morale, and you can rally to regain morale. Yes, casualties are happening, but during the period, combat effectiveness depends more on training and tenacity than sheer numbers. This much more accurately reflects the era than simply counting bodies. Next are command action points, cap. Each side gets a base amount of cap each turn, representing the quality of the command structure for each side, and each turn you roll for 1 to 3 extra cap. These are spent to take actions, move, fire, rally, etc. Nothing can be done without expending cap, and there's never enough of it to go around. Finally, leaders. Leaders are rated from 0 to 4. 4 is a military genius, and 0 is, well, a 0. They contribute to morale checks, rally attempts, combat. In combination, these 3 mechanics create powerful narrative in the game.
We had planned on releasing Tides of Revolution in 2020, but then, 2020 happened. We wound up pushing Tides into 2021. That gave us the time and space to look at the series.
With Sean's help, Amabelle and I rewrote the rulebook to clarify stuff that's come up in the last 4 years. Some of these were rules questions, and others were more about theme. People have certain ideas about the period and how units operated that aren't necessarily accurate, and so we provided additional historical context. We want to make the game and the period easier to understand, easier to learn, and easier to set up.
The original scenario books had a diagram with all the terrain tiles and then a list underneath of every hex and who was in it. I thought we would try a new approach, and it just made a world of difference. So I redid 143 scenario diagrams. There are like 12 different colors of counters, so, the game has never been colorblind friendly, and that was inexcusable. We were learning. So I added a 2-letter code in the corner to identify each color, and redid 1,200 counters front and back. That's something I only wanted to do once, so I started thinking, what else do I want to do with these counters? I made them more legible, easier to identify at a distance. Some leaders in the game are charismatic, and originally, who was just listed in the rules, and now it's right there on the counter, a little star on the counter. VP values for units were on the player aid, now it's on the reverse of the counter. That's all info that was cluttering up the rules and charts, so that lets us streamline our approach. So everything changed. The counters, the rule books, the player aids, all of it is fresh. It's a lot easier to use, a lot more evocative. I think Mary really knocked it out of the park with the books and player aids, just made everything really classy, which is good, because I think when I said to her, hey, let's redo everything for every title in the series, she came pretty close to strangling me.
Back in 2017, when we released the base game, the biggest thing we could print was 11 by 17. So the map had segments. Now it's done in one piece with larger hexes. You can see the difference. You can feel the difference, literally. Turn track used to be on cardstock, but now it's on canvas.
To top it off, everything fits in the box. Everything we did before came out in a 1-inch box, and there was so much stuff in the original release that you couldn't close the box all the way. But now we have the capacity to do a deeper 2-inch box. The new Horse and Musket shows how much we've grown over the last 5 years. And it's part of the reason for that growth. This Redux has occupied a lot of our time and energy for about a year now, and we're all immensely proud of the work we've done. We can't wait for you to get it on the table.